Back on TYT Sports, back with more what ifs. Of course we're back with more what ifs. As you can see Andre on your screen, one day I'm going to throw Andre a major curveball. Maybe like, what if FC Barcelona trades away Lionel Messi to the Portland Timbers? Just to get crazy with it. No, it's April Fool's Day, but I actually sent Andre an email saying this is not a joke. This is the time we plan on shooting. Please don't think it's a joke. But for this what if, Lakers fans rejoice. What if Shaq and Kobe stayed together? My personal feelings, in 2005, Kobe would have just actually, I think, murdered Shaq. Like actual charges. He'd be buried somewhere in the desert, like Goodfellas style.
In a giant hole.
It's not 6 feet under for Shaq. It's like 8 feet long and 40 feet under, because that man is big. That's why he has the big podcast and all that stuff. But obviously, the relationship between Shaq and Kobe, he had a big, giant, lovable prankster who was never taken all too serious. He never took anything all too seriously. And then you had Kobe, Black Mamba, who I'm pretty sure takes pouring cereal as a life or death situation and makes sure that every single frosted mini wheat is in the bowl, right? So Kobe and Shaq, one of the best duos of all time in the NBA for sure. Andre, if Shaq and Kobe stayed together, what does it look like? Obviously, Shaq went to the Heat first. Yes, played with Dwyane Wade. But so without that trade, if it's Shaq and Kobe, what do they look like? How long could they possibly stay together for before someone had to go?
Right. This is one that I don't. It's interesting to say, because in 2005 and probably even 2006, they still were kind of arguably would have been probably the most talented duo in the NBA. But as you alluded to, it was toxic. It had taken a left, stayed left, stayed left, stayed left, and I don't really see that it would have gotten better. I think by that point, by 2005, I think both of them honestly were kind of motivated to show that they could do it without the other. So like in 2005, you kind of saw the last best of Shaq with him coming out in Miami and, proving that he could, be the man on a team without Kobe. And then, with D Wade there, they did win that title in 2006. I think he would not have been as motivated in LA. I just think that they needed some fresh air between them. And the same with Kobe. It was like he was, we talked a little bit earlier about his 81-point game. That was all during that time period where he was like, I have to show everybody.
Right.
It wasn't Shaq. I can win without Shaq. I can do it my way. And so he was just so mega motivated to do it. I just don't know. I think that if Shaq was still there, that, they would have still been you would have had to pay attention to them. But I think they'd have been kind of like Mike Tyson was after he got out of jail, more like, we remember what you were, but you're not quite that anymore.
Yeah, great reference to Mike Tyson. It was a very toxic relationship. One of the things I was reading or watching, I believe NBA TV maybe interview, this is Kobe's way of motivating people. It's insane, but there's something about it that works. When Kobe beat Pau Gasol and Team USA versus Spain in the Olympics, he hung the gold medal he won in Pau's locker before the first game of the NBA season. He's like, whoop, got to go out and get it. You want a title? It's like, my God. As much of a jokester as Shaq was, I am amazed that one of those guys made it through, and the fact that they still were able to win championships without imploding. I mean, there's the stories we hear all the time about Kobe on the sideline telling, I think, Donald Sterling, get me out of here. I'm coming to play for the Clippers, telling the Bulls he's going to go play for the Bulls. The toxic relationship is obviously there, but you're definitely right. For at least 2 more years, that was easily the best 1-2 punch in the NBA, as they would have. They trucked the Eastern Conference opponents. Actually, in a similar way that we're kind of seeing now in the NBA. That pretty sure whoever comes out of the West, if not for the Cavs in the East, would get trounced. I don't think it would be close. But with the Shaq and Kobe thing, there was 2 other what ifs that I'm going to throw in just because I think they're hilarious. Maybe some people don't understand the what if scenario. What if Kwame Brown had bigger hands?
With all of the Donald Stern references, not Donald Stern. I think I'd rather. What is the Donald's name?
Donald Sterling or Trump?
Trump, yes. with all of the Donald Trump hand references that we're getting these days, that question is kind of hilarious. But honestly, a lot of people blame Kwame's issues on him having small hands.
Right.
That if he had bigger hands, he would have been a better rebounder. He'd have been able to catch the ball when they tried to do entry passes, and maybe he would have been a better player. I don't know. Maybe Michael Jordan wouldn't have had to call him a female in every way that he knew how. You know, it was all about the hands.
There was a couple in there that I saw recently. What if there's people that are just like, what if Muggsy Bogues was 6'9"? Guys, I don't think you're like, okay. I'm not even going to harp on him. But what if Kwame Brown had bigger hands? Made me laugh. And of course, a lot of people regularly write in our comment section, what if Brian Scalabrine wasn't the GOAT? Well, the NBA would have imploded and we wouldn't be able to watch basketball anymore. Obviously.
Right. Would the world implode? I mean, we never know.
We will never know. Make sure to comment below with some more what ifs for us. We're happy again to look into the future, look into the past, talk about now. We love doing these what if series with you. What if Shaq and Kobe stayed together? How long before an arrest warrant went out for one of the two guys? Make sure to follow us on Twitter at TYT Sports. Make sure to follow Andre on Twitter at Professor DRZ, rotowire.com/NBA for the Hoops Lab articles. He also updates the fantasy notes too, and he's leading me to not a fantasy championship because my team is garbage. But that's not Andre's fault, I promise. At TYT Sports on Twitter, and we'll see you next time.